Ghana, there is this. Let me. Yeah. If you look at Ghana, there's one program called the GREP Initiative, the Ghana Research and Advocacy Program, which actually bundles about 10 to 20 NGOs, which are all sponsored by a group of international donors. So they're very much dependent, well, most of them. Actually, I didn't find any that are not dependent. Sorry, that are not independent. If you go to Indonesia, it's a little bit different because Indonesia is a richer country and they have a lot of natural resources. So there you also see some local initiatives funded by rich businessmen, rich politicians. So yeah, you can also again ask the question: is it still an NGO or is it part of the state or a political party or a company? But there's more money there, so they're not. There's more differentiation. Why not CBOs and social movements? Well, from the part of the CBOs, well, the community-based organizations and the social movements, they find it very difficult to find a donor. That's what you already said. But on the other hand, the donors cannot fund them because their funds are too large. They don't have enough personnel. They don't have enough knowledge. They have to, how do you say it? They have to account themselves in their home countries. I'm talking about the big donors now, the bilateral donors like the DFID, DANIDA, SIDA, multilateral donors like UNDP, these kind of donors. They just don't have the capacity to give money to small groups because I interviewed somebody at the embassy, one diplomat, and he literally said, well, we just give all our money to the UNDP because we only have 4 persons working here. We have 500 million to spend in a year. So what can you do? And from the UNDP, we get a nice report, and then we can show our country, hey, we did it good. So that's basically what he said. So that's the reason. Donor fatigue. Actually, I didn't really find it because I'm not sure whether it's with all the donors, but it's with the Dutch donors, the Dutch bilateral agencies don't really exist, so it's in the embassies. And there's a lot of switches in personnel, and I see that with many donor organizations. So people are there for 3 years, 4 years, and then they go. So then everything starts over again. So it's a continuous cycle. They don't learn. They don't learn. So why Ghana and Indonesia? There's actually 2 reasons. One of the reasons is my program is is partly funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which invests a lot of money in these countries. And the second reason was because they are very, very different. Africa and Asia, nothing culturally in common, not in language, economy, whatever. So I wanted to take the biggest difference as possible to see whether it would make the argument stronger. If organizations are still similar between very different countries, you have to think like how do you explain that? And what maybe is interesting to say, I've also been looking at the organizations that don't get money. So community-based organizations in Ghana with farmers, women's groups, and also in Indonesia. And there you see a lot of big differences between the 2 countries. In culture, in the way of organizing, the way of financing, the way of making decisions within the organization. And the 5th one, employment opportunities for academics. Yes, I guess so, yes. That's what you hear a lot. People see it as an opportunity, and I don't blame them. No.
Yeah. Well, it's your turn. Yeah, so the question of going to school or not going to school, this is going to be answered tomorrow when I'm talking about female education and the problem that the female are facing in education in Nigeria. And the problem here is related to the civilization along history in the northern part of Nigeria. So Nigeria has big religious groups, two big religious groups, Islam and Christianity. So the northern part of Nigeria, they have took Western education just like Westernization. Some family like Fulani family, I usually go and visit them and see their own perspective of thinking. They usually say that they don't want to send their children to school because if they send them there, they are going to leave their culture. This is another problem that is too heavy in the northern part of Nigeria. So government try most of the time to assist, but the assistance is not so much heavy as how we usually say, because I asked state government more time that why children are not going to school, when I wanted to open adult education school. I usually call people to come and learn. And also children, I usually gather them, talking to them, I say, do you want to learn? I will try to help you, but some of them, they are not really want to go to school because of their culture that is not giving them way to get to Western education. These are the ones that I'm going to talk about tomorrow, how female is facing the problem, the challenges regarding education, and how the future will be in this country. If we are neglecting education today by saying that it's not going by your culture, so what is going to be as a result in future? Thank you.
There is another question. Maybe there is another question they put you.
For.
Había una pregunta. If you could say something about migratory policies
In Nigeria?
in Nigeria.
Yeah. Like all Africa country, the problem of immigration, it has become worse in the last decades. And because of this, the European Union, they put special regulation for the migration, like how we usually see in Mediterranean area place. Down Tunisia, they put special rules to block Africa not to go so much to a European country. And the same problem that we have if somebody want to migrate from Nigeria down to United States, there is also this problem. And all this problem, not only Nigeria, but most of Africa country is coming from the crisis that happened in 1990s most of the time. When we got conflict and war in the country like in Liberia, Sierra Leone, the population started moving whether to Europe or to America. So, but Nigerian right now, they have special policy. Who will travel and who will stay? They have this kind of policy now in their government. Because if they leave them going, some of them, they will go without any motive, without any objective. So these are the ones that we have in Nigeria right now. Not everybody can travel.
Bueno, ¿queda alguna otra pregunta? Si no, bueno, resta agradecer, thank you, agradecerlos por la interesante exposición y, bueno, cerrar entonces la mesa. Muchas gracias.